Hello, I'm Johnny Green and I'm your Master of Ceremonies for the entire evening. This chappie that's coming out, I've watched him. I've seen him dodge the broken bottles of punk criticism. I've seen him accept the floral bouquets of mass appreciation. Well, it makes you wonder, don't it? Is this lyrical rock and roll or is it pop chart poetry done live? You make up your own minds. So I give you, ladies and gentlemen, the good Dr. John Cooper Clarke.
Hi there. Hey. Well, welcome to Dr. John Cooper Clarke at the BBC. The subject of tonight's show, crime and retribution. And poem number one is concerning prison life. And this one was written from actual experience. I was banged up for 36 hours. Thanks to the presumption of innocence, I eventually walked on a technicality. But I was arrested on the flimsiest of evidence. I was occupying the driver's seat of a car that didn't belong to me. I had a little self-doubt about it. I thought, am I entitled to write a prison number, given my limited experience of prison life? And then I thought of the late Johnny Cash. Every album he ever brought out contained at least 3 prison numbers. All the songs he's remembered for are to do with prison life. He was really in and out with a caution. I had a residential thing going on there at Her Majesty's pleasure. So I missed a golden opportunity there while the man in black was still alive. I could have gone up to him and said, hey, Johnny, get over it. Some of us have done some serious burn. Whose back catalogue is complete without a prison number? Here it is. 36 hours, ladies and gentlemen. 36 hours in the mystery chair, 36 hours in the quizzical glare of the naked lights and the visible hardware. Another bloke is leaving in a wheelchair. No joke now, here come the punchline. Lights out, sack time, steel shoes on a stone cold floor. I hear the screws screaming in the corridor, the bad news and the slamming of the doors and the what did I do's and the what am I here for's. Shadows of doubt dropping deeper than a slag mine. Lights out, sack time, hard cheese and a chest complaint. One man sneezes, another too faint. Suffering Jesus, this ain't my kind of venue. The man through the mesh says time to crash. The creeping flesh says a nervous rash. And the last man to make a dash is on the menu. Here's the boss with a mouthful of emeralds, a Maltese cross and a pocket full of chemicals. Jack Frost snapping at the genitals. Wash this Kosh, got a visit from the general. Rule out subsection 9. Lights out, sack time. The killer gorilla with the perspex hat says I say so, and that's that. Take out the dog, bring back the cat, scrape out the cafeteria rat, stab the rabbit, feed the swine. Lights out, sack time. Time flies, slides down the walls. Part of me dies under my overalls. I close my eyes and a woman calls from a nightmare. The chronic breath of the dead collides with the rattle of the waste disposal slides. No flowers for the man who dies in the bomb scare. He's in the frigid air, freezing in these paper jeans, standing stiff in a dead man's dream. Tobacco barons and the closet queen walk on the walls, wanking the beans, the shaved shit, shower and a shoe shine, that's it. Sack time. Everybody looks like Ernest Borgnine. 36 hours on the battery farm. I got a blindfold and a broken arm. I got the cold shoulder sleeping in the barn. Whose barn? What barn? That barn. The old soldier and his old world charm. Lift that weight, drag that woodbine. Lights out, mate, sackaroonie time. Lights out, sack time. Thank you very much. Okay, this next one, staying with the theme of crime and retribution. Here's where the retribution comes in. Everybody thinks they'll make a better judge than any judge, don't they? You see these nonces getting off with a £6 fine and being given a house next door to a school. And you think, I wouldn't have done that. I haven't got any qualifications, but I wouldn't have handled it that way. This one's my rather utopian, authoritarian, Stalinist vision of a jurisprudential future with me in charge. And this one's called Camarad Clarke. A pack of lies on a stack of Bibles. Think twice, you could be liable. The salt mine needs new arrivals and the food down there is indescribable. Play it my way, justice is the prize. Camarad Clarke, all rise. Me and 12 appointed peers could send you down for 1,000 years. You want to stay in the present tense, then a guilty plea is your best defence, 'cause we got the hang of this justice lark at the kangaroo court of Camarad Clarke, at the kangaroo court of Camarad Clarke. I live my life in a rarefied haze. I'm hypersensitive these days. Unless you can prove otherwise, it's guilty, no compromise, 'cause crime figures really hit the mark at the kangaroo court of Camarad Clarke. The public gallery's cold and stark. It's a long way and there's nowhere to park. We got ways to keep the public in the dark at the kangaroo court of Camarad Clarke. A man can dream, can't he? But if you had to put anybody away, it would be this fella. This guy's so bad, I had to make him up. This one's called Crazy Mixed Up Killer. First time out, courtesy the BBC. All that was left of his many loves was a belt, one boot and a pair of gloves with the mark of a woman's clutch. Mass murderer McIlvaine, the kid with the killer touch. On the last day of the month of May, the flowers faded all to grey. He wasn't mithered either way. Mere colour could not convince. Mass murderer McIlvaine, the Jasper with the Jekyll mince. He wasn't poor, he wasn't rich. Hard to know what threw the switch that made his trigger finger itch, but something surely did. Mass murderer McIlvaine, crazy mixed up kiddo, ankle deep in sin, looking for a big fat widow with a black suede room to keep him in. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, seemed like a regular bloke. His wives, however, would tend to croak quite early in their bond. Mass murderer McIlvaine, the hits go on and on and on. The hits go on and on. I'm very good at branding. I should have my own firm. There was some team wanted to ban boxing. I'm very fond of boxing, you know, but this team, they had one agenda lobby group, and John, we want to ban boxing. There's no place for it in the 21st century. We're sure you don't like boxing. Well, I do like boxing, actually, not from an armchair point of view. For my money, if two fully grown adults want to beat fuck out of each other for 12 rounds, I'm entitled to put a bet on the outcome. Does that make me a bad person? Part of me knew where they were coming from, and they said, you're good at thinking of names, things like that. Have you got a name for us? We need, so anyway, on top of my head, ring piece. I've not had the... not come back to me on it. No. But in the light of that, the jockey club came up to me. You know, there's a lot of hoo-ha about horse doping at the time. And they said, hey, Johnny, you're creative in this area. We heard what you did with the ring piece people. And we're trying to put a stop to horse doping. He said, Johnny, you know, you're going to get this right. You're a narcotic enthusiast with an interest in bloodstock. Can you help us? Leave it with me. Anyway, next afternoon, I got the badges and T-shirts printed, and it was a circle with a horse's head, 2 crossed syringes. Just say nay. Anyway, I think it was quite successful because now horse racing is perhaps the most moral sporting pursuit on the calendar. And I can't help feeling partly responsible. OK, let's wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. This one's from a long time ago, and it tells you where it was, because the David Carradine series, Kung Fu, was on the TV screens, and Mr. Bruce Lee was the top draw in Hollywood. Sir Run Run Shaw was building his miniature empire in Hong Kong. And I like to think that I chronicled those events with this zeitgeist-ridden poem from 1975. This one's called Kung Fu International, right? Outside a takeaway Saturday night, this bald adolescent asked me out for a fight. He was no bigger than a 2-bob fart. He was a deft exponent of the martial arts. He gave me 3 warnings, trod on my toes, stuck his fingers in my eyes and kicked me in the nose. A rabbit punch made my eyes explode. My head went dead and I fell in the road. I pleaded for mercy, wriggled on the ground. He kicked me in the nads and said something profound. Gave my face the millimetre tread, stole my chop suey and left me for dead. Through rivers of claret on fractured bones, I crawled half a mile to the public telephone. I pulled the corpse out the call box, held back the dial, and with a broken index finger I proceeded to dial. I couldn't get an ambulance, the phone was screwed. The receiver fell in half, it had been kung fu'd. A black belt karate cop opened up the door, demanding information about the corpse on the floor. He looked like an extra from Yang Shang Po. He said, what's all this then? Hello. He wore a bamboo mask. Jen Dodd said he finished his devotion, he beat me up again. Thanks to that embryonic Bruce Lee, I'm a shadow of the person that I used to be. I can't go back to Manchester, the cops have got me marked. Enter the dragon. Exit Johnny Clarke. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Safe home. Mazel tov. You have been listening to or have just missed Dr. John Cooper Clarke at the BBC. The show was written and performed by me, Dr. John Cooper Clarke. Your MC was Johnny Green and the producer was Joe Nunnery. It was a BBC Studios production.